Hello, and welcome back to another Strange New Worlds review, where I told you it was going to be shabby this week. Yes, due to a series of foreseen consequences. Comment. Why are you whining? You can't whine. I'm doing a video now, okay? Okay, comment. We're due to a series of foreseen consequences. Well, not only do I have this dog, but I also don't have access to any of my filming equipment and this incredibly squeaky chair. Comment. So that includes my lighting kits, but I'm borrowing my partner's mic and camera to basically do this review. So yes, probably won't be a super long one. I always say that, but with this setup, you know, I'll do a little something, but I don't think I want much, because I've got my laptop with Chrome open. That's how I'm getting a lighting kit right now. But yeah, it's not the best condition, but we'll see how things go, and I'll see you for the review. My favorite part about this episode was how expertly they did the surprise introduction of the Tholians. Now, you may realize that there were no Tholians in this episode. Yeah. Is anyone actually interested in T'Pring and Spock's relationship? Because for me, I couldn't care less. It's an arranged marriage. T'Pring is getting better. I will admit, in this episode they're trying, but they're an awful partner. Spock is better off not in this relationship, and I know how it ends. Badly. And in a, well, not a divorce, but a divorce during a marriage? I don't care. I think, am I gonna have to hold this mic? God, that's the position we're in. I'm gonna have to hold the mic today. Yeah, I don't know. There was just a lot of weird things about this episode. Like, Sobek, I guess we're doing Star Trek V. You know, this does hurt my tinfoil hat theory about Star Trek V being a complete dream. I suppose Kirk could still have correctly imagined Sobek, but, like, there's nothing they can do with Sobek that interests me. There is absolutely nothing. I just want it to go away. I would have left this episode when Spock kissed Nurse Chapel if I had the opportunity. And there's just a lot of weird lines as well. I got a genuine laugh out of the pirate captain claiming that Spock was one of Vulcan's favorite sons. Vulcan hates Spock at this point in the timeline, if I'm not mistaken. It's not until, like, TNG that they actually start liking him. And then at the beginning, you know, she had a line, "I know how the Federation hates to have its starships this far outside of Federation space." For one, let's acknowledge that the Enterprise was in Federation space when she said this line. Comment, stop licking the microphone. The Enterprise was in Federation space when she said this line. There's another line that the Enterprise needs permission from Starfleet to leave Federation space. And I'm sorry if I thought that this was some sort of 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, and to boldly go where no one has gone before. Like, I recognize there's probably a lot of uncharted space within Federation space, within this territory, that's not super well mapped, but Starfleet doesn't like having its ships outside the Federation? There's apparently a Vulcan colony so close by that T'Pring can get outside of the Federation space to the Enterprise in a matter of, like, presumably a few hours. I don't know. This one just had a lot that didn't do it for me. I'll acknowledge Spock and Chapel kissing. I don't think really violates canon, like in Plato's Stepchildren, I think it is, when they are under the influence of I think they're just Platonians. The strong implication is that they've never kissed. But I mean, Chapel, I've said this before, it just doesn't feel like Chapel to me at all. I don't see how this woman becomes TOS Chapel and how this relationship with Spock becomes what it is in TOS. I just can't see that. And everything about, you know, we don't talk about Spock, but about the Vulcans is just, I don't know. I don't understand. You want to do this Strange New Worlds. You want to do this new modern TOS. You want to set your thing in the Star Trek universe. but you don't seem to care about the details at all. I don't know if Spock and Sobek had ever met in Star Trek V. I would have to double check, but I don't understand wanting to do these shows as the writer, but not really caring about the details. Like, again, the whole relationship with Spock and T'Pring, which seems to be what they're building this season off of, which is weird. It's an arranged marriage, and this doesn't seem to come up at any point. I'll accept that maybe they could call it off themselves in some sort of affair thing. Maybe that's a part of this ritual, but this is an arranged marriage. Why are they so keen on getting together? Like, especially when they hadn't even met each other in a muck time. Why do you want to tell these stories when you're not going to care about the details? Like, what is a person? What is a story? What is anything like that without the actual details that make it up? Oh, finally, something that actually sounds decent. Yeah, one of the details, the key detail that brought this up that I forgot to mention somehow is you'd have to go back and listen to it, but Spock mentions that Sarek had another child out of wedlock named Sybok. No, he didn't. Sarek had a wife before Amanda who was a Vulcan princess. Sybok is not a bastard. Sybok is the legitimate son between Sarek and a Vulcan princess. And we haven't seen what they're going to do with Sybok yet, but I can't fathom that being relevant, like that actually having some meaningful impact on the series, or the story. And even if it does, like, why bother changing that detail? It does nothing except break the universe just a little bit. I don't know. So yeah, this one didn't do it for me. And I can't say exactly why. It's another weird thing I want to say before we stop, because yeah, this is a quick one. I wish we could do the scene by scene, because I know there's a lot I'd say, but it's really feeling weird. This is episode 7 of 10. We're almost done. Today, I'm not going to do a big review, but we're going to get a trailer for the next show, because in 4 weeks' time, well, we don't have a Star Trek on the slate. It's Picard Day. Captain Picard Day. It feels weird that Ortega's hasn't gotten, like, any development. But she's like Troy in season 1 of The Next Generation, where everyone else, even Hemmer, who hasn't really been in the show for ages, I feel like has had an episode. They've kind of had time to shine. Ortega's has just kind of been there, and she definitely has a personality. She's probably the only character with enough personality to back up not having a backstory. But if you told me to tell you something about Ortega's, I'd tell you she's the helmsman of the Enterprise, and I can't actually tell you anything else about her. In the absence of some sort of Ortega's episode, where before, it wasn't every episode we were doing someone else, but it's pretty close, where every episode we've just kind of talked about someone. I think we started with Pike, obviously dealing with the immediate aftermath of season 2. I think we kind of have another Pike episode where then they go into his stuff with his knowing his death, whatever. Then we had Una. Mbanga was episode 5, I think. The last one. You had Hemmer. Yeah, Hemmer was episode 5. Mbanga was last episode. But, like, Ortega's is still just kind of here. I don't know. I'd love to see him do something with her. I'll say I love the inclusion of the I guess, is it a Jeffries tube? I don't know if it's a Jeffrey tube, but the engineering random tube that, they have. I like that they kept that little detail. It was more ovular than I remember, and I hate the modern paneling around it because, I've said a lot of this Enterprise is great, but I really hate the corridor walls. That's just so generic sci-fi Star Wars-y and not TOS. It's too just random modern. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to call it there because as you can see, this setup is just so awful. I'm not going to stay here too long. But yeah, that was the worst one. No, I'll say easily that has been the worst episode of Strange New Worlds. And I think primarily because I just don't care about Spock and T'Pring at all. I'd love to know I really genuinely in the comments how you feel about the Spock T'Pring plot line, because it seems to be, I thought it was going to be Pike's knowing his future, but it seems to be the core aspect of season 1 is Spock and T'Pring's relationship, and I It's not that I couldn't care less. I actively want them to not do it. But yeah, I guess that's going to be it for today. Oh god, I'm peaking hard. And now the dog's waking up. Yes, comment, we know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully you will see me as well. I'll actually have light.